Live. All right. What's good? What's good? What's good? You two in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kel. I got my squad in effect with me today. I got my man Ed from the West Coast. What's going on, fam?
Yo, I'm good, Kel.
Everything. Yo, I got my man Ken from my Morgan State WEAA 88.9 Strictly Hip Hop Days. What's going on, good bro?
What's good? What's good, peoples? What's good?
Everything is good. Everything is good. I got my man Nick out the ATL. What's good, fam?
How's it going, people? Gentlemen, let's go.
All right. Jens out of NO. What's good, baby?
What's happening, Ken? What's up, fellas?
And then I got Yao G's out of Uptown. What's going on, fam?
What's going on, man? How you, man? I'm just enjoying myself, man. Enjoy this Sunday.
As y'all know, let's get right into it, man. I've always felt this way for a while, that hip hop, it was time for hip hop to be broken down into subgenres, similar to what we've done with jazz music. You know, we got traditional jazz, smooth jazz, acid jazz, cool jazz. You know, same thing with rock and roll. You got alternative rock, you got metal, you got pop rock, heartland rock, funk rock. And I just feel like, you know, hip hop, we've been in this game 30 plus years, 40 plus years, to be honest. And it's just time to really like get, you know, chop this down into different sorts of genres. And then I got a good second part of the show about what is paying homage versus biting. But we're going to get into the genres first. Nick, tell me, good brother, what are the top 5 genres you came up with? And who are some of the people who fall in those genres?
I'm actually the wrong person to start off with, because when you asked that question, to me personally, I felt like we always had multiple genres in rap. Because you had your underground backpack rap, you had your mainstream rap, then you had your East Coast rap, your West Coast rap, your down South rap, your Midwest rap. So it was always, you know, you always had your subgenre within rap music, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I'm open to hear what everybody else has to say on the topic.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Yao?
I also feel the same way. Like, it's always been, you know, just based on region. You know, it's always been, you know, not necessarily separated, but always, you know, categorized. You know, like he said, West Coast hip hop, Midwest hip hop, down South, East Coast, boom bap, whatever you want to call it. And you know, as it evolves, always, you know, things start to get intermingled. You know what I mean? So it's like, you even notice, like probably like like 2010, 2011, a lot of New York artists started to take on the sound of a lot of Southern artists, and you know, even in the 90s, like Southern rappers trying to come up, were trying to sound like New York rappers. Some of them back in like the early 90s, mid 90s, whatever the case may be. But as the years go on with the internet and all that, like, even if you notice how slang has like kind of transcended, like John is, the word John is a Philly word, but that John is used everywhere, all across the country. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And dudes be saying like, is a West Coast term called that part that people use all the time. So it's just everything that within hip hop, even the slang, is kind of transcended itself. So I think it's just part of the growth. And yes, it does. It's always been categorized. We need to recategorize it because it's so intermingled now.
So what would you say are some of your top 5 recategorizing it? Or what would you say, like, for instance, like, I feel like nowadays, if you just hear, yo, it's a hip hop show, you could, you know, Cardi B could be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, you know what I mean? You don't know what you're getting. You know, same thing with rock. Back in the day, you ask 5 different people what rock and roll is, they're going to tell you 5 different things. Mm-hmm. My mom's going to say Little Richard. Somebody going to say Bon Jovi. Somebody else going to say Van Halen. You know what I mean? So with all of that, what would you say, like Nick was saying, like he always felt like it was those joints. What would you say are 5 subgenres of hip hop and who belongs there?
So, okay, so I would think, so I kind of mixed the names. So I would say like, okay, so let's say trap rap / melodic rap, where you would put the Futures, the 21 Savages, the Gucci's, the Migos, you know, Kodak, those guys, Travis Scott, those guys who are really melodic, but, you know, still kind of carry the hip hop name and the trap sound, you know what I mean? Then I'd probably go like hardcore lyricists. You're talking about like Benny the Butcher, Conway, you know, Styles P, The Lox, Jim Jones, Pusha, you know, those guys who just like gritty hip hop rap bar guys, you know what I mean? You classify those guys as that. And you probably had like
Would you call them?
I call them like hardcore lyricists.
All right.
You know what I mean? You can even put like not necessarily lyricists, but you can probably put Jim Jones in there because he makes hardcore New York rap music. You know what I mean? So you can probably put him in there. And then you might want to go like a boom bap slash wordsmith category, kind of. I would say so. Like you probably put like Elzhi in there, niggas from Slaughterhouse, Terminology, Sky Zoo. I mean, you might want to throw Wale in there. I think Wale is underrated with the words, and he's not really seen in the mainstream as much. So you could do that, and then you would probably go like I would call like a mainstream select, where it'd be like the nicest of niggas who do both. So like the Kendricks, the Drakes, the Big Sean's, who else? The Coles, those top tier guys, and all the guys in line who kind of do what they do, and they're able to do both with the kind of like using trap melodies as well as also just being able to straight out, flat out rap on boom bap raps. And then you could probably go like with an adult contemporary, you know, category where you'd have people like Fonte, Rhapsody, Black Thought. I think will fall in that category. Maybe Talib might fall in that category as well as the years go on. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely recategorize it however you want. But that's probably my base. But there's probably like 4 more categories you can even, you know, go further with. So those would be my 5 though.
All right, no doubt. Kenny, what you got for your joints, man?
I was gonna say off top, there's like stoner music. You got Devin the Dude, Currency, Wiz Khalifa, them type cats. You can put that in a weed rap genre type of thing, right? Then you got like I said, I lived out in the Bay, so it's like, okay, you know, people will always think like, oh yeah, Too Short, E40 or whatever, but we had an underground as well. You had people like Board Stiff, dang, it's a whole bunch of like different like underground cats that really focused on lyricism out west, like Souls of Mischief, Freestyle Fellowship. But even in there, you got like other like subgenres that come into play. Like you got somebody mentioned Midwest stuff like with Elzhi, Slum Village. It's like a certain vibe that's not like Fat Joe or somebody like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Fat Joe is like I guess now Fat Joe's more so like just like a mainstream rap type thing. But back in the day, Fat Joe was just underground gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like rhyming with Diamond D, digging in the crates, all that kind of stuff. Then you got somebody mentioned the Conway, gritty, grimy. So you got weed rap, grimy rap. You got some people that kind of bridge it, that gap, like Freddie Gibbs, who kind of just encompasses everything. Lyricism, he could do the trap stuff if he want to or whatever, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking off top 3, but the other 2, you might have to get back to me on that one. I'll come up with another 2 in a sec.
All right, no doubt. Ed, what about you?
Yeah, man, I think Yao and I'm sorry, you're Kenny, man. They bodied it. To be honest, yeah, I had some of these categories. I didn't have a lot of newer artists, but some that I did. I had trap rap, like T.I., Jeezy's, Gucci, ASAP Ferg, Travis Scott. But then I had the mumble rap, like Migos, Future, Designer, Young Thug, Lil Yachty. What else I had? I created a category called emo rap. So I got Drake in there. I got Cudi, Lil Uzi, Mac Miller. I threw Kanye on there for that 808s album. What else? Then the rest were pretty much similar to what everyone else had. I had a political rap category.
That's a good one.
We had like Brother Ali's, and I had like older artists like Immortal Technique, Death Prez, The Coup, Public Enemy, Boom Bap. You know, self-explanatory. You got Nas, Mobb Deep. Then I had like Sky Zoo, Elzhi, some of the newer artists. For like the more adult contemporary, I had like conscious / adult contemporary, like Common, Odyssey, Rhapsody, Pharoah Monch in there, Fonte, artists like that. I think that's 5.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Jens?
I had a conscious category, Public Enemy, Dead Prez. underground category, Sophia, Freestyle Fellowship.
True.
Trap. Or I'll go MOP, Ice-T, and I don't like the term rap, so I'd rather call it hardcore.
Hardcore is a good word for it.
I have one new beat. The guys make string of instrumental album. That's a genre all into itself. Just guys making beat tapes, instrumental albums. Got one that I call just straight up rap. People like Mike Jones, Paul, French Montana, stuff like that.
All right. And for me, I had my, like y'all said, adult contemporary, which of course is the Fontes, cats talking about, you know, things that us older generation can think about. I had my regular old school, your Kanes, your Slick Rick, your KRSs, your G-Raps. I actually had this joint, I've been calling it this for years, hip hop. So you got your Drakes, your Nicki Minaj's, your Cardi B, all that pop shit. I'm with, yes, I hate the term gangster rap, and I had that, but I also like Kenny's joint, the grimy rap, which was the Griseldas, the Pusha T's. Of course, I had the trap with the Futures, the Migos, the Quavo, and then the boom bap with the Evidences, the Skyzoos. I kind of was trying to just look at stuff that dropped this year. So, and where would I categorize stuff that dropped this year? So, like Evidence, Skyzoo, Elzhi Fonte, Sean P, Prime, Joel Ortiz, Apollo Brown, and all that. Porsche, what's good, miss?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. What would you say are your 5 categories, miss?
Well, she came at the right time. She missed the Drake Love Fest, so she came right after that.
I assume Yao started that.
Oh, shots already.
Oh, man. Look here, man. Cross, listen, I'm in peace. I'm coming in peace today, man. I don't want no problem. You just started up on Twitter today. I don't want none of them issues today. I'm trying to have a peaceful Sunday. You started the podcast. You'll know why. But you know, we lit.
All right, Porsche. So what's your top 5?
What has already been said, or like I don't actually have 5. So my whole thing was that. Wait, can you just recap quickly what's been said already?
Yeah, Yao said you got hardcore lyricists, you got boom bap, you got your mainstream select, which would be cats like Kendrick, J. Cole, cats like that. My man Kenny says stoner, which would be your Wiz Khalifas, your Currencies and all that. You got your grimy rap, which would be Griselda. Eddie had emo rap, which would be Drake and Kanye and stuff like that.
Okay, so the only other one that I would add to that is alternative hip hop. I know that sounds really like I guess vague, but that's who I would put. Like, I don't know about this year or like in recent years, but that's who I would categorize anybody like Tribe or De La or those kinds of raps. That's what I would consider them. So that's the only one I would add.
Like that too, back in the day.
What happened, Ken?
Now I was saying it like Tribe, like all them, like Tribe, De La, all them dudes back in the day. I remember like they used to be categorized as like an alternative hip hop type rap. Because like when LL was out, Kane, Rakim, all them was out. Then you had like this other sound. You had like the Tribes, the De La, Jungle Brothers. Far
yeah, exactly.
You know, like all that, you know. So they used to be called alternative rap or alternative hip hop or whatever.
All right, now tell me this. So where would somebody like Rick Ross fall? Where does Rick Ross fall in these genres? Yeah, where would you put Rick Ross?
I'd probably put Rick Ross in the mainstream select because of just us. You just think about the longevity and the hits he's had. You know what I mean? He also knows how to rap. So he's in the upper echelon of niggas who rap. And I don't want to put a bias on it, but I always say this, like the top tier dudes, as far as longevity, those guys always have taken an East Coast cadence to their rap. And if you notice, Ross has, over time, has had more of an East Coast up north cadence than he did when he first came out. So that's key. So how Ross falls into that mainstream select, because he's one of the better ones who make songs with that cadence, definitely.
Now, with me, are you saying that like this is where, as this is like the upper echelon? This is where if you're an MC, you would be trying to become in your mainstream select category.
Yeah, I think Ross is up there.
All right, yes. Where would you put Ross?
I would agree with that. I mean, it's kind of hard for me because I'm not really for the subgenre thing, but yeah, I can see him being in like a mainstream. He gets a lot of radio play, so yeah, I could see that easily.
Yeah, see, so only somebody with bias could create this topic. That's why Kill did.
Somebody with bias could.
It's Kill, don't take the bait, Kill.
I have perfected the art of ignoring. It has taken 9 years on Twitter to perfect this art of ignoring. But Nick, you said yourself, it's always been genres.
Yeah, that's my point. So like, no sense in doing it now because it's always been that way.
All right. And what about you, Ed? Where would you put Rick Ross?
Oh shit, Ross came up with his own category, didn't he? Maybach music. Isn't that what he calls and stuff? But I mean, other than that, I'd agree with everyone else. You know, he's just pretty mainstream. I mean, he kind of slides in, like when he does his features, he just kind of slides in and fits perfectly with whatever sound. I mean, there's certain instrumentals that he sounds better on for sure. But yeah, I see.
Where are we putting Jay-Z at? Where's Jay at?
I feel like there's a couple of dudes right now who don't. I mean, Jay doesn't have a category. Nas doesn't have a category. Guys like that, like who have stood in the time and also been successful and also been in the limelight, like Jay, Nas, they're on their own thing. Like you guys,
I don't think so. I can't agree with that. I think wasn't there a category called lyricist or something to do with lyricism? What was the? Yao
had hardcore lyricists. So it would be people like Griselda.
Oh, okay.
Stuff
well, I think like Jay would be in a couple categories, to be honest, because he's been mainstream. He's been hella mainstream. So to negate the fact that Jay was mainstream that's just, I don't know, turning a blind eye to a reality.
I'm actually not negating the fact. I'm actually kind of giving him credit for that because he's actually been like, I think Jay-Z's been over mainstream. I think even now, to a certain extent, is over mainstream. Like these guys are like literal, like walking legends. They are the two pillars of hip hop that are walking right now and are still in like the limelight as far as being relevant, making songs and making like I said, making relevant songs. So I think they're past relevant. Like they're in their own thing.
All right. Let me ask this: Meek. Where does Meek go?
Yell raps. I'm joking.
Yell rap.
No, I don't know because Meek does kind of everything too, though. He can do like trap rap. He can.
I think you got to put Meek in that mainstream select too. He's in there. He's in there with the Big Sean's, especially with
Drake.
Yeah, that's a good point. Big Sean.
This last album was a really solid effort from Meek, and he gets a lot of my respect from this project he put out. So I would put him up there in that mainstream select, probably like second or third tier. You know, after the Drakes and
Drake and Kendrick, he is up there.
I don't want Portia to get mad.
Damn, now we got subgenres and the genres. We got
tiers.
If you look at the top guys right now, you got Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole, Meek Mill, and Chance the Rapper maybe.
Chance would be in that mainstream select as well.
So where like how would you categorize those five? That's like
I mean, I don't know. Like that's my thing. Like if somebody says Yo Kill uses this Chance the Rapper make, I'm kind of confused. I don't know what he makes, to be honest with you. Like, you know, from the last album, Cass was like, yo, is your man a gospel rapper? I just think that's what the boy was going through when he was making that album, because it ain't gospel rap because he cursing on it.
Exactly.
You know I mean, he talking about smashing, so just because you talking about God doesn't make it gospel rap. I mean, you know, people always used to tell me gospel rap can't be successful. I'm like, what was Brand Nubians? Them niggas was talking about Allah. You know what I mean? Like, that was their God. So, you know, you can look at it that way. So I don't know where you put Chance. It's hard for me to put Meek in the same category as a J. Cole or a Kendrick. You know what I mean? Because I don't think he is nice as those two. You know what I mean? So
nah, yeah, he's like below. Like the main three is Drake, Kendrick, and Cole.
all right. Then here's the last one before we move on, because y'all know I don't know nothing about these new school people. Vince Staples. What is he?
He's
Vince Staples.
I'll go on record right now. I've never listened to a Vince Staples song. I've heard he's got good music, but I've never listened to a song from Vince Staples.
Yeah,
you know what? Every Vince Staples album that I've heard sounded different.
Exactly. Yeah, he never makes the same album twice. Yeah.
All right.
Like Outkast, because he don't make the same album twice.
Would you say yes?
I say he probably go with Kendrick and them because none of those dudes really are in a genre, so to speak. They can do it all, just like y'all said. So if you can do it all, you can one day make that make a hardcore album, then you can go and make the mainstream album. Them dudes just make that kind of music. They kind of genreless. Let's say. I don't know.
Yeah, I just can't put. I've heard this from a lot of people. I really can't rock with the rest of that TDE crew, so it's hard for me to put them in the same place with Kendrick because Kendrick is worldwide known. You know what I mean? Like J Rock or the rest of them TDE cats. I don't think they get no Super Bowl halftime spot. You know what I mean? They're not like that.
Not many rappers will though.
Right.
like only Drake and Kendrick.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why when y'all saying mainstream select, I can only give that to the Coles, the Kendricks, the Drakes. I can't.
Even with Jay-Z and Nas ain't getting no Super Bowl halftime show. Jay-Z will, but we were putting them two in the same category, right?
Well,
were we not?
Y'all said they was living legends and walking gods. I don't know.
No, I'm asking you though. I'm asking you.
I throw them niggas still, man. I throw them niggas in the boom bap category. Well, I don't know where I put Jay. I don't put Jay nowhere. I don't really fuck with Jay, so I mean, I just don't. I know it's upsetting y'all, but I really just don't. Jay is at the point where you know what? It's okay because Puff got more haters than Jay, so I can deal with the Jay haters. I've done this.
So where would you put the Life After Death album? That ain't boom bap. Where are you putting that at?
Oh, now both of y'all today? I gotta do it both of y'all today.
I'm asking.
I'm gonna put it. I like Yao. I like Yao's mainstream select category.
Okay, gotcha.
I would put mainstream select. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I would put that there.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
See, now here's my thing with Jay. I just don't understand how. And Yao, you're a perfect example because you're one of the biggest Jay people I know. I just hate when people try to say that he's spitting as nice as he was 10 years ago.
That's not factual. I will never say that.
Right.
It's arguable that Nas has had far better projects than Jay over the last 10 years. If you want to keep it all the way real, like I probably give the edge to Nas. I always say there's a certain prime of Jay-Z and really Nas. Even if you listen to Echo from Nas on Swiss Beats album, he sounds like he is right in pocket, and he sounds like that way more than Jay. You know what I mean? Like Jay sometimes hits his pocket in spots and in verses, and maybe one or two songs on a project, but Nas does that shit throughout, except for his last album, which I'm.
Yeah. Well, I blame that. I blame that on Kanye because Echo just proves that Nas could still stay in pocket. I feel like Kanye rushed that album.
No question about it.
I feel like they should have did more takes. I feel like they did one take, boom, you're good. The mixing was off. Like it just sounded off.
Yeah.
But he'll change a beat. Like when your project done, it won't be the same beat that you rap to in the studio. So we don't know what he did after the fact.
No, you're right. All right. So, and I appreciate that, y'all, because that's my only beef with people when it's like, yo, you can't tell me that you listen to Jay on American Gangster and then listen to Jay on even 444, and he's still at the
same.
His content is better.
No, I'm not saying the content.
Content cool. But dog, I always talk about the skill. Like content fine, but the skill and the precision and the timing.
Yeah, he fell off.
Yes, you can say it fell off. Yeah. It's nowhere near as precise as it used to be. Like when you listen to like The Blueprint, you listen to American Gangster, you listen to Black Album, Jay in pocket is
Yes.
the guy.
Yes.
444 Blueprint 3 Jay. You know, he's trying things with his voice, trying things with flows, trying to be more listenable to a bigger audience, right?
Yeah, he experiments a lot more.
Experience a lot more. Very true, Vince. Very true.
Yeah, he experiments.
Yeah.
He's fooling with different types of flows nowadays. He's not. So of course he's not gonna sound like Reasonable Doubt Jay.
Yeah.
He's not gonna sound like all those because he's doing something different. Now, is it to our liking? Maybe not.
Yeah.
But that's part of the thing. He's trying to push his lyricism with using different flows and everything like that. That he just don't sound the same. So I don't know if it's a matter of him falling off. He's just
kind of dumbed it down.
Maybe.
Well, here's the thing. You can try new shit all you want. Don't mean that it's good. So that's the one.
Right.
You can try. I can stay up to date and say, you know what? I don't want to sample no more. I'm gonna just play live instruments, and that's cool. And it may sound like shit. So you know, you can try and do things as much as you want, and you may not be them. And niggas are like it don't sound as good.
But I mean, that's part of you being a creative, though. Part of you being a creative is to push the envelope, right?
And challenge yourself. Yeah,
you can. If you can, not everybody can. This is not.
No,
everybody is not. Everybody cannot teach themselves how to play the piano. And what happens is people who read, "Oh, Prince taught himself how to play the piano. Oh, I'm gonna teach myself how to play the piano."
The problem with rappers like Jay-Z and Nas trying out new things is that they have so many albums in their catalog that was away. And then when they try something new, everyone's like, what the hell is this? Like, it just sounds
the expectation.
off. Like, they just open themselves up to a ton of critique for that because we've been accustomed to hearing Reasonable Doubt Jay, Volume 1 Jay, Volume 2, Volume 3, Blueprint, Black, American Gangster. And then all of a sudden he starts experimenting and you're like, what the hell is going, like, what is he trying to do? And then he starts getting all this hate for being, you know.
Oh, stop. Don't use
Pusha.
that word. Don't use that hate word. It's not hate. We are not hating. It is not hate.
No. I'm part of that. I don't think 444 was good, and I don't think.
But that's not hate. That's not hate.
No, it's not hate. It's not hate, but people will call it hate, and that's fine.
Right.
I'm good with that. I'm fine with that. Whatever you want to call it.
Use the air quotes. Air quotes.
Yeah, like hate.
I got a counter. So I tend to agree. I think that these artists, you know, they're taking chances. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it falls flat. But look at an artist like Master Ace, and what is everyone saying about Master Ace? Now he's doing what he does well. Every album that he puts out is basically the same. He's putting out concept albums since he dropped. And everyone's like, that album again? It's like he's just doing the same thing.
Right.
So if you don't stretch yourself, then you could fall into that.
Well, here's the thing. Even if you're doing concept albums, it's kind of like you're going to get bored. I look at it like if you're an artist, then like Yen said, you may want to try new things. But I don't look at the first 5 to 6 Spike movies. Spike wasn't doing the same thing all the time. So you're right. You know, like when Prince Paul did Prince Amongst Thieves, it was like, oh, that's a dope concept album. I don't want the next 8 Prince Paul albums to be concept albums.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, and I mean, that's just me. Maybe people love the fact that Ace does these concept albums, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with Ace just saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to just spit. You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, all of this can go back to what my...
If Ace turned around and said, I'm just going to spit, you'd put him in the same category as Thought. Let's be honest.
No, but here's the thing. How does Tariq Trotter's name forever come? How am I linked to this man forever? All I'm saying is that because
we to yourself, man.
He wouldn't be put in that category because Ace has proven he can do storytelling rhyme.
Okay, and that's fair.
He wouldn't be put in that category because he's known that I can do it over and over again. You know, so it's just, I think one of those things where I've always said is the death of the executive producer. Every MC does not know how to put together an album. It's like having a coach. I think you got all these teams out here just running rampant and rapping. You need somebody to come in and say, you know what, bruh? Concept albums, you kind of done that, Ace. It's time to do something else. Let's try something new. You know what I mean? And again, here's the thing that if you stand behind your art, who cares what people say about it? You know what I mean? Now that's the key point. If you stand behind it, is Jay really doing this because he's being artistic, or is Jay doing this because he wants to get a wider audience? Those are two totally different things. When I looked at Outkast, I never looked at Outkast as changing to try to get an audience. You know what I looked at it like
they was the artists that was able to be, you know, diverse with their sound. They were able to just say, okay, we went one way with it. The next album, we're going to go somewhere else with it. Right. Each album showed like a level of how, you know, just how eclectic they can be. You know what I mean?
But if you got like, everybody can't do that.
You know, yeah, I know. And you had that convo about Outkast. Outkast being from Atlanta gave them that freedom. If they were from the 5 boroughs, would they accept that there?
I mean, probably not. But the other thing about Outkast that I don't think they get enough props for is that they're talented enough to do that. Everybody isn't as talented as Dre and 3000. The same way everybody on that basketball court isn't as talented as some of those all-stars. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. A lot of people didn't accept Outkast in all their changes, but they kept growing and getting new fans. I don't know anybody who ever really said Outkast fell off. You know what I mean?
Andre.
What happened?
I feel like they didn't accept Andre. You know what I mean? Like Andre was the dude that was going way further left than Big Boy. Big Boy kind of just stayed his own Southern playlistic Pippin, you know what I mean? But that was his vibe and sound.
Even with 3000, nobody ever fucked with him. You know what I mean?
Well, I fucks with Dre since Southern Playalistic and some of his freestyles from like the Sway and Tech show back in the day. I was already like, oh yeah, 3000 gonna be a problem from like before ATLiens came. I was like, yo, Dre gonna do something. Right. And then when ATLiens came out, Dre definitely was over a lot of niggas' heads, but at the same time, he was straight spitting on ATLiens, period, point blank.
I look at it like this. If it's dope, people will fuck with it. This nigga had on a Roddy Piper skirt in the fucking UJK video.
Hey, but guess what though? Roddy Piper was a dope wrestler though too.
I mean that's true, but we talking about hip hop. You can't wait hip hop video and people accept.
They wouldn't accept him in a hip hop video at all. I feel you on that. I feel you.
All right, so let's do this. Let's switch gears. This past week on Twitter, I've been going back and forth with a lot of people. There's a thin line between biting and paying homage. So we are going to look at a couple of things about, is it biting or is it paying homage? Let me say this first. I think one of the things, this is going to be one of my 2 minute soliloquies, so everybody just sit back and relax. I feel like in life, we as we grow, we get more options. And what I mean by that is I was talking with my kids once. I said, yo, what's up with y'all kids committing suicide over cyberbullying? Like, what the fuck is that? Because when I was growing up, you had 2 options. You either fight the bully or you fucking keep running. That's it. You had A and B. Now, all of a sudden, in the 2000s, you now have C. Fucking kill yourself. That was not an option. No matter what the fuck went on, I never once came home and thought, I could just kill myself and just, this shit is over with. That just wasn't an option for us.
Right. The difference between back then and now is our shit wasn't finna be all over the internet.
Exactly.
We have to acknowledge that. It might be at our school or in the neighborhood, but that shit wasn't all over the web. Yeah. These kids have another level of pressure that we didn't have.
I agree with you. And maybe it's wrong for me to assume that even with that, because you're right, I don't know what the world was, but I know if you got your ass beat in the whole neighborhood, it felt like the whole fucking world knew. You know what I mean? I just don't know why all of a sudden suicide became an option. You know what I'm saying? And why people are killing themselves over cyberbullying. You know what I mean? So all I'm trying to say is that, hey, there was a time in life when, guess what? Divorces weren't an option. You just stayed the fuck together. You did not get a divorce. There was a time when if your teenage daughter got pregnant, you know what you did? You sent her ass down south. She came back in 9 months and y'all had your cousin fucking JJ with you. But nobody fucking just said, hey, y'all, my teenage daughter's pregnant. Now, in 2018, I get motherfucking baby shower invitations for 14-year-olds. It's just become accepted. And I say all those things to say that I feel like now with hip-hop, it's just become accepted that we can bite. We could redo fucking albums if we want. Like, I love Criminal Minded. I love Ultramagnetic. I love It Takes a Nation. Never in my life did I think, you know what? Let me take the time to make all these motherfucking beats over again and try to rhyme over these beats and do it as a homage to these motherfuckers out here. So all that to say is that I feel like I get this new generation. I feel like they have new options. Number two, I feel like this new generation just don't give a fuck about the rules. You know what I mean? And all those things. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give y'all some examples, and I want y'all to tell me if it's biting or paying homage. Yao and Porsche, you know I love y'all dynamic, so I'm going to start with y'all two. Porsche, is it biting when Jay uses Big's rhymes all the fucking time?
It is biting.
Okay.
It's 100% biting.
Okay. Yeah. Is it biting or is it paying homage when Jay uses Big's lyrics all the time?
Yeah, I promise to God, if you tell the truth here, you do not like Jay any less. Okay,
Look,
I promise.
Look, and this is my guy's honest feeling. I feel like everybody bites lines. I feel like Nas has paid homage to a rack of people, and nobody says anything about "quote unquote" biting lines. Is Jay biting lines? I'm not gonna say that. I've taken lines from rappers to use. Like, it's just part of like. I'm not gonna say somebody's like completely bite. He uses a big line, like a
every track
throughout a 16 bar verse. He might use a half a bar of Big. Now we're talking about he's biting. The man has so much material. I mean, so many bars he's written by himself. I'm not gonna like fault him for using Big's lines too.
All right, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. This is why I gotta do a marriage counselor. Answer the question, and then you could give your soliloquy of chaos.
No, you know what? No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, it's not biting. Yes. What do you think? Is it biting or is it paying homage?
I think it's neither.
Okay, cool. It's neither. Nick, what do you say?
Yeah, I lean more with paying homage than biting because, like y'all said, I know it's like the jokey, like the J. Cole going platinum with no features. That's the thing to say about Jay. But if we really keep it real, out of all of them raps that he's written, he really don't throw a big line in that often as we joke about.
Okay, so if I wrote 3 novels on my own and then copied a novel from somebody else,
but
you're not one time.
But that's
is that not biting?
You said if you copy a whole novel,
even a paragraph. That's the comparable thing. If I took a line from you or a paragraph or like a stanza, that would be the comparable thing. If you're writing a novel. And I
just copy a whole novel.
You know what,
because you guys are giving Jay a pass because he's got all this material. That's not a pass. He has to have a lot of material. Otherwise, he's just the second coming of Big.
So, Porsche, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. What percentage of Jay's line?
I already told you on Twitter. I don't come with stats. I don't know.
That's the thing.
Here's the thing. To give you an adequate representation of a statistic, I have to sit there and actually calculate how many lines Jay has in total, and then how many lines are from Big. I don't have that kind of stuff.
I respect that about Porsche because that's that real shit. Because somebody else would be like, well, 85%. No, nobody.
I don't want to make up statistics here. If you want me to come back with actual stats, give me about 6 months. And I'll do this.
I wasn't asking you to find the stats. I was asking you to give me a representation of what you thought what it was. Just a ballpark area. Because honestly, if we're looking at it logically, Jay-Z has 12 albums, 12 solo albums with at least 10 tracks on each album. With each track has like 3 to 4 verses, which are probably worth between 44 and 84 bars. You know how many bars that is? How many bars does Big have himself? Period. So how can you tell me that a guy who
does it all the time
is completely biting a guy who has 2?
Because Jay's first 6 albums, it's very frequent. It's a little too frequent for comfort.
I would say, I'll say this. I'm sorry, y'all. I do want to fight between y'all just to fuck with y'all, but you know, let's do this. I personally let's go to Ed. Ed, do you think it's biting or paying homage?
All right. Here's how I'm gonna answer this. When the Remy's in the system, ain't no telling when I fuck them, while I diss them. That's what they be yelling. I'm a pimp by blood, not relation. Y'all be chasing, I replace him. What? Whose line is that?
That's one song though on an album of what?
Oh my God!
That was on a single. Single, and that was the line. That was a line that everyone was repeating. So that's the thing. It's not just that Jay does it, and it's not that he does it for all his bars. It's that he does it on certain songs. Exactly. He kind of picks his spots. Yeah, he does it for the reaction. So in that way, it's kind of like it kind of rubs me the wrong way.
All right, Kim. What about you?
I feel like when it's like the first time or the second time.
Hold tight. Remember,
no, I think. I think. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying, is it biting or homage? And then you could give the soliloquy. But which one is it?
Oh, biting.
Okay.
Soliloquy time. So like what happened is I feel like if the first two times, you know, that could be like coincidental, oh, he's really paying homage, right? But then album after album, and like you said, every time is always a big line. So it's almost like if you take a James Patterson book and like in the beginning, it's always like maybe like a poem or something like that. And it may have like that author of that poem's name on there. Imagine if that author used that guy's poetry in every beginning part of his book, and it's like 7 or 8 times.
Every time.
You're biting.
Y'all are killing me because you're saying this every single song.
Yeah, it's not every
Jay-Z has like 600 songs in the tuck. You telling me every single one of Jay-Z's 600?
I'm not saying every single one. I'm just saying it's frequent enough that it crosses
very frequent.
the homage line onto biting. At some point, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was an issue of Vibe magazine years and years ago, where they had like the middle page where it was like both pages, and you know, Vibe was a wide magazine, so this is like a lot of page. Okay, they had all of Big's lyrics and who bit them throughout their songs or whatever. Jay-Z's name comes up very, very often. And I have that issue somewhere, and if I can find it, I'll definitely post it up or take a picture. But that such a thing exists somewhere, and I'm sure if we search it, it's on the internet. But Jay's name comes up way too often for comfort. That's a homage at some point.
And my thing, another thing that bothers me is the whole premise of biting is like copying somebody's line and like making it seem like it's your own. But I don't think you guys genuinely think Jay-Z is doing that.
No,
like,
he hides it behind its homage. Oh, I'm shouting out.
He's a high-level student of hip-hop. You think this guy is purposely like, oh, I'm going to use these big lines and make people think that I will.
No,
Here's the thing. I'll say this. I think it's biting. I don't give a fuck how many songs you do it. I don't care if Jay does it enough. Here's the thing. Y'all know me. I don't want to argue bullshit. Let's argue facts. Jay does this shit more than anybody. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That Jay takes Big's rhymes more than any other MC. Even if he only does it once to twice an album, he does it more than anybody. To me, that's biting. I'm old. That's cool. Y'all don't have to agree. But the fact is, Jay does it more than anybody. Now, again, somebody says that's paying homage. That's cool. I call it biting. Now, y'all arguing over who does it more or how many times and how many bars. That I can't get into that because it's just like, yo, if you do some shit once, I don't give a fuck. You don't have to do it 50 times to be a bite.
The thing is, when you say he does it all the time, how you just said it, he does it more than other people, that's accurate. But when you say he does it all the time, that's not accurate.
All right, I mean, I can understand that. I think I can't speak for anybody else, but I think when people say that, I think that's what they're saying. Like, it feels like it's all the time. XXL, just like Porsche said about Vibe, XXL did a piece on Jay using Big's rhymes. Who else has had 2 publications say X MC uses Y MC's lines this much.
Cameron wrote a whole entire
get
diss
that. I
track
get
about that. Come on now.
I mean,
But like you said, he does it more than everybody else. It's factual.
right.
Can't,
Now the thing is this. Now
all the time, that's not
right. All the time is not correct. I'm just saying that the fact is he does it more than anybody, and then he takes shots because he says something on a Snoop remix, something like, what did he say? I'm the new king of New York now, no biggie. You know what I mean? That's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's what he said. Now, somebody out there will say, well, no, he didn't mean it. How does that shit sound when you hear it? I'm the new king of New York now, no biggie.
Y'all crowned him. Not me. I'm from the South.
Yeah,
East Coast crowned him.
Yeah, how did you feel when you heard that line?
I don't know. I don't even know what line you're talking about. Honestly, I'm trying to think of the line where it comes from. But I do know he's also in other verses said, "Hey, I'm bigging up my brother," and nobody pays that shit. Everybody just like, I'm so glad why I do it. And nobody wants to legitimize it.
I'm so glad you said that. You know what? You know why that's bullshit to me? Because when I was talking about samples and everybody was like, well, Guru said rap is an art, you can't own no loops. Motherfucker, he's the one who jacked somebody. So of course he's gonna say that. So somebody said that to me on Twitter, like, yo, didn't Jay talk about this on What More Can I Say when he said, when I say a big verse, I'm bigging up my brother? That's not for you to decide. It's for us to decide.
Listen, Jay talks himself out of a lot of shit.
That's like you snitching and then coming out of court saying, oh, ain't nothing wrong with being a rat. Nigga, it's not up to you to decide if you are the rat. It's for us. The streets decide if you're a rat. So I'm glad Jay said, I'm only bigging up my brother, but that don't mean that we got to be like, oh, okay, y'all, he bigging up his brother. That don't mean we got, nigga, of course you're going to say that. So that doesn't mean anything to me when Jay is like, oh, I did this. Or with Guru. I love Guru to death. At the end of the day, nigga, you stole the beat that YZ used. YZ got at you. And instead of being like, yeah, I'm dead to right, I took your beat. Of course you're going to say rap is an art. You can't own no loops. Because I got caught. I don't know nobody who gets caught and then fucking just comes right like, yo, you know what? Boom. Dead to right. You caught me. I was wrong.
Well,
So,
how many people used the funky drummer? They was all biting?
first of all, God, we gotta go to. All right, I'm gonna do this. No. I'm gonna do this. I swear for God. I swear for God, this is the last fucking time I'm going to do it. I have typed this shit. I have voiced this shit. I have said this, and I don't know how to dumb this shit down any other way. Let me get an example so that prayerfully this could be the last goddamn time I got this fucking.
Don't have a stroke break, bro. Chill out.
This shit is going on too long. This right here is a classic break. It's the Skull Snaps break. It's a drum. I understand that this now is going to become a little bit of trigonometry for some people because this is where it gets deep. With a drum break, nobody is really pressed on how many times somebody has used Impeach the President, the Skull Snaps, James Brown Funky Drummer. That was never an issue with hip hop if you're using the same drum break for the most part. For the most part.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I'm not saying that nobody had a problem because Diamond, the problem that Diamond had with Mr. Walt was he thought that Walt took the drums from Bucktown off of his reel. That
he even take it back the audio too when they was going on.
Hold tight, good brother. Hold tight, good brother.
Right.
So, like I said, with drum breaks, that was not against the grain. If you listen to Premier, if you listen to Pete, everybody has used Impeach the President. So, step one is a drum break is not the same as a sample. A sample is totally 100% different than a drum break. For people out there who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, the drums in the song versus the melody in the song. They're totally different.
All right, so school me. Who made that rule up?
The song that you
Say what?
I want to know.
All right,
yeah, I'm going to 79. Who made that rule up?
Hold on. I'll get to you, Nick. What are you saying, Yitz?
You had the same sample that Just Blaze used and that I forget who else it was, and y'all had a little problem
right.
with the same sample, correct?
Right.
Was that the same sample?
Yep.
Okay, so what are we saying about that then? Were you
like I was saying, just, and this is what happens, and anybody out there who follows me on Twitter knows I don't do this. A lot of motherfuckers back down when they favorite rappers pop up. I don't give a fuck who you are. Just use this shit after OC used it. OC used this. I mean, Buckwild used this on OC's Word Life album. Then the Beat Miners used it for Black Real, and then Just used this on Jay's joint. The Beat Miners had a problem with that publicly. I don't know if OC had a problem with that, but like I explained to Scratch, if it's no big deal to use the same samples over and over and over again, then why hasn't somebody used Come Clean in hip hop over and over and over again? Why hasn't someone used Troy over and over and over again if it's no big deal?
They ain't got to it yet.
Because it is a big deal. It is a big deal. If you respect the culture. Here's the thing. If you don't respect your wife, you will fuck everybody. It's that simple. If you respect the culture, you won't do certain shit. If you respect your wife, you won't do certain shit. So it all comes down to respect. If, like Nick said, who made up that rule? Who made up the rule of commitment? Was it God? I don't know. Why are people committed in their relationships? Who made that up?
But the thing about the culture is who owns the culture now. It ain't us.
Again, this is where you and I disagree. I feel like the culture isn't owned. I feel like the industry owns rap music. The culture is odd, in my opinion. But so it's not about who owns the culture, but it's just about, again, I don't know. Anybody know who made up the rule to be committed to your husband and wife? Porsche, you know?
Well, we ain't talking about that.
I think it was the Bible.
Let me talk.
I'm asking a legitimate question.
Let me talk. You said it was rules to sampling using the same samples, but not the drum beat.
Right.
I just asked who made that. Where did that come from?
To me,
where did that rule come from?
To be honest, the rule came down to me just through music because I'm not from New York. I'm not from the Bronx. I don't know. It came down for me through listening to music where it's like, okay, oh, that's that funky drummer. I love that. So, and hearing more people using it and nobody having a problem or issue with it. And then when people would use the same samples, like I said with Jay-Z, I mean with YZ, when Guru and them used the same sample he used for In Control of Things, oh, now these rappers have a problem with it. So for me, it was just coming down like through the pipeline of, okay, so nobody has a problem with this, but oh snap, you use the same sample, somebody has a problem with that. So it's like I said, there has to be rules because it's like, if a sample is so dope, like everybody loves this PSA sample. It's so dope. Yeah, if I send you the PSA sample beat, are you going to rhyme over it for your new album?
If I like it. If I like just the sample, no, I don't know. I mean, I gotta see how it sounds. I'm not gonna sit in any.
I'm gonna use it the same way Just did. I'm gonna use it the same way Just OC and Buckwild used it in the Beat Mine. I'm gonna use it the same way. Are you gonna rhyme over it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll rhyme.
All right, cool. So I can send this to you and I'll make your album.
Yeah, shit, nigga. Yeah, if it's good enough, fuck. I don't care. If it sounds good to me, and as long as it's good. I've heard the same sample used from different producers and just like the way somebody else used it as opposed to somebody else. So it's like, is there a rule against that? You know what I mean?
Well, what I'm saying is this: if that's the case, why don't you just rhyme over PSA then on your next album?
Yeah, that would be homage, right, to Jay?
I mean, if that's what you want to call it, but I mean, if I like,
would you feel comfortable as an artist taking one of Jay's songs and rhyming over that exact beat as it is from Jay?
Yes, because I'm a rapper.
Okay, so
you're fine with that.
So here's a question: why haven't you done it? I've heard 3 of your albums, and I haven't heard you beat Jack nobody. Why not? Because I'm sure you like Jay-Z's beats, right?
Of course, but it's not in the scheme of how it's not how I make my music. I don't
because you're not a biter.
Well, okay, if that's what you want to call fine. I'm not a biter, and you know what? Fine, I guess Jay-Z is fine. Jay-Z's a biter.
No, I'm not trying to get you. I'm off of Jay-Z being a biter. I'm trying to understand because
the reason why I don't is because I mean it's nothing that's ever gravitated towards me. But like I've rapped over niggas beats before. I mean, I've never released them. You know what I'm saying?
I heard your freestyle over the Cranes in the Sky, but I'm talking about you're working on an album. I mean, yeah, let's keep it funky. You gotta love Jay's beats. I mean, Kanye West,
Yeah, of course.
Just Blake. So rhyme over PSA. Rhyme over PSA. Let that be your next single. Your first single is paying homage to Jay over that PSA beat. And the reason why I'm doing this because I run across MCs and producers all the time. That's like, hey, it ain't no problem with it. Then why the fuck don't you ever do it? If it ain't no problem, if it's no problem, it's funny that nobody ever does it.
Well, I mean, maybe listen. You can't. I'm not gonna sit here and like try to judge how. I don't force my music, so I'm gonna be like, oh no, I gotta rhyme over a JB. I gotta rhyme over.
No. I'm not saying
that's not my creative process. If it's somebody else's, like Meek Mill has like 5 tracks where he completely jacked Dead Presidents. He jacked Getaway from Prodigy. He jacked What's Beef. Like he's jacked a whole bunch of joints. But the songs sound explosive and they're good. So who am I to be like, oh nah, he shouldn't have did that? Game on documentary too. Stole a whole rack of beats, but he sounded good in them and he performed well on the beats. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, nah, you shouldn't use that because somebody else used that prior to you. I'm not gonna do that.
Why?
That's just me.
But you won't do it.
It's been done over years throughout hip hop.
But you won't do it.
But I'm also not put in a position to do that. I'm not at that level where I think I can get away with. Because if I did it,
I like that word. I like that word. You know what you just said? I'm not at that level to get away with it.
Okay.
Away. And that's what niggas are doing. Thank you. That's what niggas are doing. They're getting away with it. And that's why I love listening to people because you just hold tight. You're not at the level to get away with it. Because if you came out with that shit, niggas would be like, "Yeah, fuck."
Exactly.
That's you said it. I applaud you. That's it. You got to be big enough to be able to get away. How do you get away?
Not even get away. You done something wrong. I'm not even gonna say get away though. But you can also
that's what you said.
Homage, and that just lets you know you have the longevity. Like how Game used all of Big's beats on his last album. Like he's allowed to do that because he's put out consistent work over a long period of time. So yes, if he wants to take a chance and rap over a big beat or rap over a Pac beat, or when Cam raps over Hail Mary, like he should be allowed to do that because he's put the work in.
Oh, so you should be allowed. So do you believe in biting?
Do I believe him? Here's the thing about biting.
Hold tight. Remember me, marriage counselor. Do you believe in biting? Yes or no? Soliloquy after.
I know. I'm going to give you soliloquy before because I feel like.
See, this is how we. This is why marriage counseling goes wrong because you're going to talk for 20 minutes and we're going to forget about it.
Listen.
You got to know what it is right now to give me soliloquy. You have to know. You want to stay married?
It all depends on how you
minutes. You know if you want to stay married. Is it biting? Or do you believe in biting? Yes or no?
I believe there's a such thing as biting. Do I believe what Jay does is biting? No.
No. Stop, Jay. I'm not talking about Jay. Just biting. Do you believe
there is biting? Yes.
Okay, there is biting.
I feel like when you bite, you do it with the intention of fooling people as if it's yours. I don't feel like Jay does that.
The definition is different then.
But work with me. We're not talking about Jay. There's no more Jay. Bye, Jay. Sean Carter dead.
We're done? We're done with Jay?
I'm just talking about biting in general. If I come out, and I just posted this today, I was watching this documentary on Netflix about Jam Master Jay dying, and DMC was saying when he came out, he wanted to be Jazzy Jay. But they said, man, you can't do that, man. There's no copying in hip-hop. You can't be Jazzy Jay. Somebody has that name. We have to come up with an original name. And then DMC said, I was thinking Grandmaster. But he said, I couldn't say Grandmaster because you already have Grandmaster Flash and Grandmaster Cass. So I couldn't say that. That's what I'm talking about. So where you may want to do something, but something inside says, hip-hop just ain't about copycat shit. Now I get it. And this is why I wanted you here, y'all, because you're younger. So like I said, maybe the younger generation just doesn't give a fuck. Maybe it's like,
it ain't that we don't give a fuck. It's that the game has changed. So you're going way back to the beginnings. Hip hop, rap music is corporate now. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be different if it's like Run DMC and Grandmaster Caz running these labels, passing that knowledge down to the youth coming up. Who run these labels? motherfucking white people.
But
They
here's
give
the
a fuck about the culture.
Even in that same tone, Nick, like a lot of the things that I even learned from hip hop as a youngin were from newer rappers taking lines from older rappers and hearing beats that were reconstructed, and that's how I learned about like previous hip hop. You know what I mean? Like that's how I learned it. I was, oh, let me go back and listen to Rakim after I heard
exactly. Like with Slick Rick, because we talked about this. Slick Rick, Lottie Dottie, right? You know, many people never heard the original Lottie Dottie.
I heard the Snoop Dogg version first.
Exactly. They went back at the end of that song where he says, this goes out to my nigga Slick Rick. Those don't let it eat a dick. People like, who the fuck is Slick Rick? Them cats went back.
I was Rick. That's the thing. Like, yes, you quantify with age because I was 11 or 12 years old when I heard Lottie Dottie on Snoop's album, and then he said Slick Rick. I was like Slick Rick, but then when I was listening to the radio on Saturday, Hot 97, they would play the Slick Rick version with Dougie Fresh, and I'm like, oh shit,
that's what Snoop.
Let me go back and listen to this. Yeah. Yes, that's how I learned. So like the whole biting, the premise of biting, maybe it changed. Maybe there's a pinnacle where it changes. You know what I mean? Like with everything else. But like some of the shit that y'all see as biting, I just wouldn't see as biting.
Well, the definition's different because I didn't know until 2 seconds ago that Yao's version or Yao's definition of biting is taking something and trying to pass it off as your own. That's not what I think biting is at all.
I'll give you a prime example. So even before I started rapping, I remember in high school, there was a freestyle session and it was like 4 cats, you know what I'm saying, going in. And this dude was going in and my man Marlon was next to me. It was like, he was just looking at him. He was like, yo.
I know the rhymes.
I know those bars. Like, yo, those are the Roots. His uncle was in the Roots. His uncle he played drums for the Roots. He was like, yo, those are Black Thought bars. And we was like, oh, nobody else knew them shit. So that's what like biting is to me. Like, yo, you trying to get off like that shit is yours.
Passover is yours.
That's biting.
But here's a point I've been wanting to make. When we were having this discussion on the timeline, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save it for the episode. So I feel like certain level of biting is just lazy. And when I say lazy, I mean that you think, all right, someone already has success with using this sample, flipping it a certain way. So, hey, I'm going to do that. And then, you know, if people like that, they're going to like this too. You know, it stirs up something. If you hear something familiar, something that you already thought was dope, you can be like, all right, it already got your head nodding. It already got you doing something. Now, some people feel turned off by that immediately, like, nah, this, that, I ain't gonna fuck with it. But other people, they might be like, all right, this is cool. So I think it's incredibly lazy. Now, if you want to take a sample and flip it in a new way, you know, use some originality to it, you know, as far as sample-wise, that I think of it in a totally different way. You know what I mean? Because samples can be chopped and flipped in many different ways. You know, I don't see anything wrong with that. But if you're using it in the same exact way, I got a problem. You know what I mean? Like J. Cole, Born Sinner album, I love that album.
Nigga does it all the time.
I got, you know, he had 2 songs on there I could point out. One, he was biting off a Tribe, Electric Relaxation.
Then he did Outkast.
And then he had Outkast, Art of Storytelling. And both of them tracks set by J. Cole.
And you know what? And I agree with you 100% because to me it's the same premise that Tone and Poke used to use with the Trackmasters back in the 90s, where Tone would be at the club, then he would hear all the old school sets, come back to the studio and tell Poke, yo, the crowd gonna go crazy if they hear this. Like you said, you're already winning. Once you hear that what's beef sample, you're gonna get hyped. So it's a certain level of being an artist to know that if I do this, and with the Meek thing, it just got worse and worse and worse. It was like, yo, this nigga literally went from what's beef to rhyming over dead presidents. What's up, Nick?
Well, the thing about that, we got to think about his fan base. A lot of them cats they're not familiar with Biggie like that.
Right.
So you got kids born 97 or later, they might go back to what's beef because of this song. Now for us, we like,
right.
Get out of here.
But here's the thing with that. I've always when people say Meek's fan base, because And here's the other problem with that. I may just have to. I got to get a grant so I can just go on a world tour and just do this hip hop thing right. Because when I say shit like, oh well, my kids don't listen to that, then niggas want to be like, oh well, your kids listen to go-go. No, the fuck they don't. They don't listen to go-go. Then if I was in Detroit, my kid. Here's the thing. Who is Meek's audience? Is his audience? It's not the under 20 crowd. It's not. You know what I mean?
A good chunk of them are young. Young, like. I don't know a lot of cats my age listening to Meek like that.
No, but that's what I mean. It's somewhere in the middle. I do not. I don't believe teenagers will listen to me. Every time somebody say that, every time I tell them my kids don't, I get a million reasons why my DC kids don't. DC.
Who do your teens? Who do your teens listen to? I know you work at.
They listen to a lot of that the trap stuff, the Migos, the Quavos. They listen to a lot of that trap. If I throw on any Cardi B, they on it. If I throw on trap. This whole premise of DC listening to go-go and wearing New Balance is dead. It's dead. They don't wear socks up to their knees no more. None of my kids wear New Balance. They all wear foams and Jordans. They are not listening to go-go. It does not happen. But what I'm just saying is that, to me, I'm just, again, it's laziness. I'm like, yo, how do you go from what's beef to dead presidents? Like,
yeah, I get you. I
can't even take you serious, my nigga.
I have to say that I completely agree with what Eddie just said and how he explained it, because that's exactly how I feel about Elzhi doing Elmatic.
There you go.
I refuse to listen to that album. I was like,
crazy? Are y'all crazy? Y'all listen to that album? Because
I listen to
it. Say that.
I personally will not. I'm not interested in it. Why? Why would I listen to it?
I listen to it.
Because it's great.
Well, hold on.
It's Elmatic. Why would I go to that one?
Because that was the next thing. The next one was Elmatic. And here's the thing. My man asked me that on Twitter. He said, "Kill, paying homage or biting?" I was like, "It's biting. It ain't even no thought about it.
That's biting.
Don't thought about it.
Exactly, and the reason why I won't listen to it is because
you pass out, you shake your head until the fucking Saints win another Super Bowl. It's
biting.
It is biting, and it's exactly.
He chose to do it because
he did a great job of it. But at the end of the day, and Ev couldn't be here, but he wanted me to throw this at you. He said, if you look at hip hop as art, why ain't nobody trying to repaint the Mona Lisa to pay homage to it? Why ain't nobody trying to rewrite the same book that Stephen King did to pay homage to it? In fact, my beef was, Elzhi, you took all this energy to redo a 5 mic album, and you ain't got a 5 mic album. Let
me ask you this, Quill. With that said, is acting in TV shows and movies, are those art as well?
What do you mean?
People try to recreate those all the time.
Yeah, and it's whack. I don't want to see
whack as hell.
Like remakes all the time.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Charlie's Angels. I gotta watch Tomb Raider again. Shit, they're working on the new Fantastic Four. This is the 3rd time they've tried to reboot that shit.
The Hulk.
The
Hulk has been done like 10 times.
I done had 5 different Spider-Mans since I've been married. Come on. When do we stop? When do we stop? I done had Tobey Maguire, the other nigga, then the skinny nigga.
but with Elmatic,
I got 8 Spider-Man.
Y'all wouldn't listen. I mean, just the sheer fact that Elzhi is one of the dopest rappers ever.
I don't take that away. I don't take that away from him.
He's incredible, but he
is.
But he did.
But he shouldn't have redone Elmatic.
I don't know. Like I just feel like for you to say he's biting. It's not forget it. Y'all got it.
It's because it's exactly what Eddie said. It's you want to get a nod and throw it under the umbrella of homage so that you're not biting, but then you want to get this because Illmatic is a 5 mic classic. People are like, oh damn, I want to hear what so and so how they approach their version and whatnot. So inadvertently, you get listeners.
Now I
won't do it.
Now I will say this. I don't. For me, it's biting. I don't know if Elzhi looked at it like it's biting. I think,
of course he didn't. Of course he didn't. It's on record. It's on record that Elzhi said it's a tribute album. It's homage.
Right, but I guess this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning. That in my brain, this wasn't an option when I was coming up in hip hop. It wasn't an option for me to say, you know what? Let me remake It Takes a Nation of Millions. This is the album that kept me from selling drugs, y'all. This album literally changed the trajectory of my life. But nothing in my brain ever said, let me remake it. Let me buy a Raider starter jacket and get a dark-skinned nigga with a clock around his neck and let's redo it. It didn't enter my mind. For this new generation, this is now an option. They can say, to me, paying homage is, man, this what I just did. What I just did. I said that on Twitter, and Chuck D responded and said, wow, man, that's incredible. Thank you for saying that. That, to me, is how my generation pays homage. We talk about the album. We salute the MCs. We say, man, your music changed my life. You did this for me. You did that. This album helped me get through hard times. We don't try to remake the shit. I just think this new generation of MCs, it's an option now. And it's kind of like, and I bring it back to what you said. You can get away with it. If you're big enough, you can get away with it. If J. Cole was, if you did what J. Cole did, taking those two beats, trust me, niggas would have been like,
and that's the thing. Like, you still have to execute it well. You still have to do it well. Because if you don't do it well, you're gonna get killed for it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the people who aren't big enough for doing it, so to speak, did it very well.
Yeah, I said that. Elzhi did an excellent job. He did an excellent job of biting. So, I mean, he did a great job. But at the end of the day, for my generation, I mean, dog, here's the thing. And this is what me and Nick was talking about this. And I've heard so many rumors, and I hate rumors. Nick said, Big Bro, I don't even think Nas even heard this shit. I don't even think Nas heard it. I have not seen Nas one time
say anything about that record.
Anything about this album. Now, maybe this is just me. Somebody put on Twitter, yo, Kill is cemented in the hip-hop history of Baltimore for what he did for Strictly Hip Hop. I fucking took the tweet, took a screenshot, circled that shit, posted it on my page. Usually when people pay you homage, you're like, yo, look at what the young nigga did for me. Yo, like the boy, yo, look at this. Nas ain't said a word about it. I done heard every rumor. Somebody tweet at me, nah. Elzhi said he spoke to all the producers in Nas. I'm like, really, my nigga? He spoke to every producer in Nas. Yo, if it's homage, why wouldn't you? Yo, if somebody paid homage to you, you wouldn't want to talk about that. And then
I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna Google this at some point, but I'm pretty sure Nas either said something and approved, like him making it, or said it was dope.
I say the key word, and this is why I'm a good ass marriage counselor. The key word is pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
because somebody.
If I find it, I'll send you the link. Kill.
It's a clip where like Large Professor heard it, and Nas said if Large said it's cool, that's my OG, so it's cool, that type of shit. But which basically means Nas ain't heard it.
So
at the end of the day,
to me, if somebody's paying homage to you and you're cool with it, you just nothing like what?
Listen,
it would have been what, 2010. It's been 18. It's been 8 years, and this nigga ain't said nothing about it.
It would have been homage if it was one track. Like Snoop to me with Lottie Dottie, that's homage to me. I can pass that off as homage because why? One song, he shouts out Slick Rick at the end. He makes people appreciate and recognize the name at least. And then some people will go back and listen to it like, yeah, I did.
What's the difference between shouting out Slick Rick and saying I did this for my brother?
Because it's one time. One time. Oh. Snoop does it one other time, it's biting. There's a thin line. It's not that it doesn't happen. It's that there's a thin line. And rappers cross it all the time because it's under the umbrella of homage. And there's obviously listeners like yourself, Jens, that will pass it off. You'll give them a pass.
Hold on. Yes, I got a question.
Go ahead, ask.
You played the safe spot. You said, I don't believe it's either. You're shaking your head, it's not biting. What is biting to you? What is biting to you? Because right now, nothing is biting. So what is biting?
Let me talk and be ready to listen. All right. Biting is you taking everything word for word and you're passing it off as yours, just as y'all said. That's biting. That's biting. If I took what you produced, if I took your Sade Meets the Clips mixtape, and I started passing that off and putting my name on it, that's biting. That is biting.
Okay.
Basically like what Puff did to Pete Rock, where he heard Pete creating a record, didn't get it from Pete, but had his nigga produce the same record. That's biting. Or like what Q-Tip did to Pete.
Puffy's whole entire production is biting.
Right, okay. I just got a question. So yes, in the realm of hip hop, What would you say? What? Give me an example of biting. Give me an example. I mean, we got 40 years of history, so I'm sure there's got to be one.
Let me think about it. You can't just pressure me into an answer, brother. Let me get to you. All right. Let's say the Fugees. Nobody brought the Fugees up about taking Bonita Applebum and singing over it. So if by using what we saying, they used that beat and they sang over it. So there you go. There's biting.
But did they try to pass it off as their own?
Yeah, they did. They called it a whole nother song, "Killing Me Softly." They remade Roberta Flack. So is that biting?
Well, in R&B, that's more of a. I mean, I don't look at R&B and hip hop as the same. So
if Snoop could redo Lottie Dottie, that's just
God, I can't do this. I can't. Okay,
hey, kill.
I can't.
Hey, I got a question though.
I'm sorry.
I can't.
I got a question. When it comes to R&B,
hold tight, Vince, please.
Talk to me.
Can we stop? We gotta stop this, y'all. We gotta stop.
What?
R&B and hip hop are two totally different things. R&B, there is no problem if somebody recreates a song because hip hop was the culture. Nobody cares who wrote Toni Braxton's song. Nobody. We've done this. This is a conversation that has been had many times. Do you disagree with that? Maybe that's the issue. Do you disagree that we should care who wrote Boyz II Men songs? I mean, it's totally different.
We just talked about a remake, Lottie Dottie. That's a remake. Remakes go across the board, all genres.
Okay, so this is where we're always going to disagree because hip hop culture is not a genre. It's not a genre. So that's why hip hop can't be compared to jazz and R&B and everything else. No, you told me to listen. You told me to be quiet and listen. Okay, so you can't say, because if that's the fact, then when we find out Jay-Z never wrote a rhyme, you're cool with that because nobody cares if Janet wrote her rhyme. When you find out everything is fake, that Rick Ross was really a CO, but he wasn't a CO, but he was a CO, that doesn't matter because it's all this shit is wrestling. Because R&B is about an artist. It's about, oh, yo, I like her style, so let's find somebody to dress her, teach her how to dance, write her rhymes, and put a product out. Whereas with the hip-hop culture, it's really not a product, it's who you are. So that's why I'm always saying you can't compare R&B to hip hop because it's about who hip hop is supposed to be about. Keyword supposed to be about.
I was about to
you are. If we find out tomorrow that Jay-Z never lived in Marcy and never sold drugs, that should be a problem. But here's the thing: with this new generation, it wouldn't be a problem because don't nobody give a fuck no more about that.
Well, okay, so we're gonna go back to Biggie.
No. But yes, hold tight. I'm gonna get to Biggie. But yes, do you agree with that, or do you think that hip hop should have, it's all the same, like it doesn't matter at all?
What we were talking about were remakes. So, in according to what you're saying, let me just tell me if I'm wrong. There's a hip hop remake and there's an R&B remake. That's the way we categorize it.
No, I'm saying in hip hop there aren't remakes. You should not remake. There aren't remakes. You don't do.
But the example I just gave you was Snoop's remake, and everybody was saying how good it was.
No, I said it was biting. I said it was biting. The two people who said it was good were Yao and Nick because they went.
No, I did. I didn't say it was good. I said it wasn't biting.
Okay. I said it was good and it's not biting. So I'm both. Yeah, I think it's dope. So
it's not biting. It's if you do it once, it's not biting. If you
do it once and you do it properly. So what did he do? He took the entire song that we knew. He shouted out Slick Rick. He did it only one time, and that was the end of that. He closed it. That was homage. He wants to call that homage. I'll give him that pass.
So when he did the second time doing the Vapors, that was another homage?
No.
They did it a third time, so they did doing like an Arabian Rakim joint.
No, that's not homage. No, that's biting. But Lottie Dottie off of Snoop's debut, I'll give him that.
All right.
What do you think about Pharoah Monch doing the Welcome to the Terror Dome? What about Pharoah Monch doing that?
I didn't like it. I'm just, here's the thing. Across the board, whether you're whack, this ain't like with me. I'm not like, oh, Pharoah. I'm just against hip hop remix. It's like, look, just fucking make a new goddamn song, make the shit good. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do. If you want to pay homage, say me and Ed was going to do Let the Rhythm Hit Him 2017. Whole new beat, Not a different rhyme, whole new rhyme style. It was just like, yo, this is one of my favorite joints. Take the title, but the beat is totally different. He's not rhyming like Rakim. He's not using any Rakim bars. That's just me. That's cool. Nick, I want to get to you about Biggie. What are you going to say?
So you say hip hop is supposed to be who you are. Biggie's mom has come out herself and say this dude exaggerated his life on wax.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Nobody has a problem with it.
Can I say this?
Please.
If I'm not mistaken, Big sold drugs. If I'm not mistaken,
he sold drugs not by necessity. Like some people are in a situation where it's like,
yes,
my nigga, I gotta help my family out. Then that check from McDonald's ain't gonna help.
Okay.
Biggie was not in that situation. He was a guy who had a good life and chose to run to the street cats.
Okay. So
there's a difference.
So, well, this is what I'm asking. What did Big lie about? Because I've heard people say, well, Big never sold drugs. No, he did.
No, he did. But Big exaggerated his struggle. He exaggerated his struggle.
And you listen to Ready to Die, he made it sound like he came from poverty.
Yeah, he has said that he came from poverty. He said that he didn't have many things growing up, but Valletta has come out very explicitly and said he's full of shit. He did have those things.
Can I say something? And prayerfully, my mother is not watching this episode, okay? I was sitting on the steps with Naomi and my mom in Philly one day. And my mom was going on and on about what a great kid I was and how I never stayed in trouble and I never caused any problems and I never did anything. And Naomi looked at me like, the fuck? She don't know what? I'm like, shut your mouth. So, no, just listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. I went to private school. If you ask my mom, she would tell you I had everything I needed. Now, as being a teenager, we should all know a parent's definition of need and what makes you fly are two totally different things. Now, keep in mind, I'm not taking up for Big. I have no idea. Maybe he did exaggerate. I'm just giving you an example of how my mother would say Kill had everything he needed. He never got in any trouble. He never did anything. My mom not knowing how many times I would have almost died, went to jail, got shot up, or any of the things that I did. We were watching a documentary last night about Jam Master Jay, and Jam Master Jay's mom and sister was like, nah, Jay would never sell drugs. Nah, that would never happen. Never, never, never. The very next scene, Jay's best friend is like, yeah, so we on a plane to go get coke from LA. Like, yeah, your mom's is going to say you was the greatest fucking kid in the world.
No, but it ain't even about her saying he was a great kid. It's just about him exaggerating his lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he didn't sell drugs.
Okay. I mean, I can't. If he exaggerated, I guess.
I had friends who lived in the burbs who just wanted to be involved. Like they come to the city,
right? But that's
this shit.
Big lived on Fulton Street. Big, so see that, and I guess that's it for me. If you told me, yo, Kill, Big was from Long Island and never sold drugs, I got a problem. Big was from Brooklyn, sold drugs, was up and down 95 with him. I don't have a problem with you saying, oh, well, my life, Christmas missed us, but I did have Christmas presents. That's just me. Now, if you told me Big, like I gave the example, Jay-Z's not from Marcy, Jay-Z never sold drugs. That to me, or even Rick Ross saying, oh, I'm a CEO. No, I wasn't a CEO. Now I am a CEO. That's straight up and down lying. So, and again, that's just me. But
I mean, there's a difference between living in Marcy Projects and in a brownstone in Bedford-Stuyvesant. I think it's a difference.
I don't know. Yeah, difference. I mean, I would say this. Yes, living in I'll say this all the time because my peoples in New York always go back and forth. My people from Brooklyn be like, them niggas with Queens was living a good life. Them niggas had houses. You know what I mean? I go through it myself. I'm from uptown Philly. We had houses. No, I didn't grow up in the projects. Niggas was still getting shot. Niggas was still getting robbed. That's it. So the niggas in the projects are always gonna say the niggas with a house, ain't bad. But I'll tell you this, I know a bunch of Queens niggas who will fucking beg to differ and tell you like, yo, don't let this fucking grass fool you. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah, what did you think about the Meek album? Any problems with the biting or anything?
I honestly listen. At this point, I've always said this. The whole game is WWF anyway. So like, shit's gonna get recycled as it is, just because we live in a time where we're still wearing sneakers from the 80s and early 90s. So shit's gonna get recycled. I had no issue with the Meek album. I really bang with the Meek album, honestly. I fuck with a lot of the tracks. Like I think it's probably his best album, production wise. I think he's got some powerful songs on there. He's got some powerful messages on there lyrically. I bang with the title track Championships. I bang with the joint with Ella May. I bang with. I like Trauma. I
Now,
like
the joint with LMA. That's where he jacked Beyonce, right?
and that might be the most well used sample on the album. That's because it sounds like it
this is my fucking problem, y'all. I got it now, man. I got something for you, man. I got some beef for you tonight, man. I've been sending you the wrong shit, man.
Here we go. No,
I'm just saying. I don't need to dig. I got you, y'all. I got some shit for you.
Look, you know, I sent you the joint the other day. I said, yo, in all caps, like, send me the joint. I need some heat. It was in all caps.
Right. I know. I'm fucking with you, man. I'm fucking with you, man. I know. All right, yes. Did you listen to the Meek album or any problems with it?
I'm not a Meek fan, so no, I didn't listen to any of it. But I will though, just see.
All right, Porsche, did you listen to it or
nope? And I won't.
Okay. All right.
Not interested.
Nick, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, I listen to everything, but I'm not the biggest Meek fan. But like I said, even the West beef to me was still a little different because to me the drums was different. Maybe I need to go back and hear the Biggie joint again, but it was something about the drums. It was different to me, but I could tell it's What's Beef because, of course, I grew up listening to Biggie.
He used the same sample as What's Beef, is what we talking about?
Yeah,
he used it exactly the same way, like the little melody, the violins or whatever, exactly the same way.
Right. So I mean, and it's called What's Free. So
What's Free? Yeah, it's a play off of the song.
What's Beef? You know, so they got the whole chorus. You know,
yeah, pretty much.
And then, of course, every Jay-Z fan lost their goddamn mind, like Jay just raised Jesus from the dead with that verse. But that's a whole nother.
What's the time limit on using a sample?
See,
it's far enough. That's 21 years old now. So
at this point, 21. I feel I always felt like
I would say a decade.
20 was the gap, 15 to 20. But if after 20, all bets are off to me.
And see, I guess for me, again, being an old head, being a producer,
man, we love you, man. You Scrooge when it comes to hip hop. We love you.
Yo, here's the wild part, man. Somebody said the other day, yo, what do you like? You dissed everything that came out. And I literally tweeted back 18 people who I said nothing bad about. And the guy was like, oh, but that's all whack. Like, I'm like, I ain't say nothing bad about Freddie Gibbs. I ain't say nothing bad about Dave East. I ain't say nothing bad about Evidence, Skyzoo. I named 20 people, and he was like, yeah, but they all whack. You know what I mean? So,
I think I remember that cat. Yeah,
like, oh, I just said I like 80 things. But the thing,
I don't respect his opinion, no way, whoever that was.
The thing for me is just, you know, and again, it's just about how we were raised. You know, and I was raised that you really don't use the same sample that's already used. It's why I've been in rooms and been in studios with producers and they're like, oh, fuck, he used that shit. Nah, I can't use that shit. Like, it literally was I can't, oh, why he used that, man? I had that, then it was just this sense of, I can't use it again, like Ed said, unless I flip it. You know what I mean? So unless I use it, and the word flip is meaning I'm turning it upside down. Like, it's not going to be the same way. So you could have taken those violins from What's Beef and pitched them down and replayed them and chopped it up or something like that. When you listen to Kwame's The Rhythm, which samples the same thing that Gang Starr used for The Question Remains, I never knew that for the longest time. I never knew that was the same exact sample. But the way Premier flipped it, you would not even know, oh shit, that's the Bob James sample that Kwame used for What's Beef. To me, that's how you make a flip, where people don't even know, can't even put the two things together. Like, that's the genius of hip hop to me. So it's like what Eddie said, that's lazy for me to just literally take the same Bob James sample the way Kwame used it and not do nothing to it. To me, that's lazy. What's up, Nick?
Again, when we talk about Premier, Pete Rock, these are fucking gods. We can't expect every producer to be that creative. Not trying to give them a pass. Not trying to give them a pass, but we talking like god level producers with Premier, Pete Rock, large cats like that. Yeah,
I mean,
even
that's
Dilla,
true.
I think the hard part for me is that is just I feel like people have stopped trying to push the envelope. You know what I mean?
And it's because fans don't need them to push the envelope.
Yeah,
that's why.
Like you said,
I just feel like that's the thing. Like so many people tell me, well, old head, I ain't have nobody to school me. And again, y'all know I hate doing this, so I want to try to get a white person on the show who does music. Like, that's not hip hop. But I'm like, do white people need somebody, an OG, to school them on Bruce Springsteen? Or do you just respect that dude for what he did. You know what I mean?
Your parents played it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's the case.
Even if your parents didn't play, like, I just, like, somebody was on Twitter and they was like, yo, talking about reggae. And they were saying, like, how reggae artists, no matter how young, they just embrace the OGs. Like, they want to sit under them. They want to learn from them. And I was just like, damn, I wish hip-hop was like that. I wish it was like, you know, I forgot who was beefing with Pete Rock. Like, one of them little bootsy people was beefing with Pete Rock. And
yeah, I remember that.
Like, it's like this huge divide, and I don't get it. You know,
there's so much money in hip hop. That's the thing. Like, if reggae was that big, I'm sure there'd be some dissension between the generations. But reggae never got that big. Hip hop is massive.
Reggae also uses the same rhythms all over again.
That's
like they had, you know, so they ain't no beef about, oh, you use my beat, because everyone uses it.
Yeah, they do like sound clashes where they just go at each other over the same joint.
Right. All right. So I think we still don't know the difference between biting and hopping.
2 hours later, we still have
2 hours later, we don't know. For every age group, it's gonna be a different definition for biting. You know, I don't know. I'll tell you this: when somebody takes your shit, then we'll understand if it's homage or biting.
Got you.
That's really what it comes down.
Yeah, like the Pete Rock and Lupe thing.
Right.
He had, like, I believe certain tracks are off limits, and Troy is one of those tracks.
Yes, it is.
Touch that one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, certain tracks don't try to touch.
One More Chance remix was a One More Chance remix. Ashanti should have never touched that. Like, I still am salty about that. Every time I hear that beat drop, I'm like, Lord, I hope it's not Ashanti.
Would you say yeah? Would you say?
But it's a great record. I didn't like it back then, but it comes on now, and it reminds me of a better time in my life. So it's I got the Ashanti version of that song. My days are
should be deleted. Should be deleted off the face of the planet.
Oh, okay.
I got another. You got 112.
Kill.
Would you say, Nick?
Portia is the female kill. Like, what did you like, Portia? What did you like, Portia?
Yo, here's the thing, man. I get the raw deal, man. I like a lot again, and I get it.
No, I'm joking. It's jokes. I know. I understand where you're coming from.
It's
I understand where both of y'all coming from.
When you're, and like I said, for me, it's all about how you were raised. You know what
I'm sorry, but it's not just Ashanti. Animal Ant Farm redid Smooth Criminal. Should have never been done. Should have never, ever been done.
Come on. You didn't
Who pulled the trigger on that?
I mean, Genuine should have never redone When Doves Cry, but I mean, we could go on for hours about, and I think that's the other thing. And yes, a good point on the R&B remakes. Like Nick was saying, to me, there's certain things you don't touch if you can't kill it as good as that artist. Like, not too many people are going to try to redo a Patti LaBelle song because it's like, you can't they ain't gonna try and do a Patti LaBelle song. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the thing with an R&B remake is you supposed to be able to do it and kill it just as good or better than the OG. You know what I mean? So I think that's like the thing. And see, the difference with R&B is it's just like it's singing. So it's really based off of your voice. And is your voice powerful enough to do what Patti LaBelle did? Whereas in hip hop, you know, I mean, right now the Yin Yang Twins could come out and redo, you know, Children's Story because it's just, we just got to know the rhymes, you know, or whatever like that. So like Nick said, there's certain songs that should just be off limits. But for Lupe, he said, hey, I'm paying homage. Pete Rock had a problem with that. You know what I mean? Or the same thing I told Scratch. If it's no problem, then I'm sure there have been plenty. I used to read, where are these things at down here? I used to read these Scratch magazines all the time. And they would ask producers questions like, what beat do you wish you made? You know what I mean? And RZA would be like, oh, I wish I made Come Clean. And Pete's like, oh, I wish I made this. If it was no problem, then you should have went back and used it. So again, there was a part in XXL, and I can't find any of my XXLs, where they used to have the quote at the bottom, like something, it was something cute, like biting or something. And it would be when, you know, like Yao said, somebody would take a verse and another person would use their verse. And it's like, is it biting? So all I'm saying is we can't act like biting didn't exist. And I feel like that's what kind of happens sometimes. Even when we did the freestyle show and Yao broke down why, you know, freestyle isn't coming off the top anymore. If y'all watch the Stretch and Bobbito documentary, when somebody is on the air, they will put on the screen, this is not a freestyle. You know what I mean?
But I think in that case, they found that out after the fact. Like somebody could come.
You
they
found
could come
it
to
out
the show.
years later. You found it out years later because
this nigga came to spit a verse from his album.
Right. But what I'm saying is that I've heard people say like, no, freestyle don't got to be off the top. It never existed. Niggas be trying to act like it's only.
I see what you're saying. And
it's like, no, like there were rules to this, and I understand nobody gives.
But you know something, because there's an interview with Big Daddy Kane saying that a freestyle rhyme isn't necessarily off the dome. It's just free of style type of thing. So, he's an OG.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like we said, it's all about how you were raised, and that's why when we did the freestyle show, I said maybe it's a Philly thing. Maybe just in Philly, it meant off the top. That's why I was asking around, but neither here nor there. And
like Souls of Mischief said the same thing. They said when we freestyled, it was off the dome. So when cats came with written, we could already tell. And they way over in the Bay.
So yeah, tell me this: when your man was kicking Black Thought lyrics, what was the synopsis on that?
How you mean synopsis?
Like what happened? Did your man interrupt? Like, yo, nah, that shit is whack.
He literally stopped him mid verse. He was like, yo, those ain't your bars. Those are Black Thought bars. Like I said, my man, his uncle was in the Roots, like one of the drummers in the Roots. So he was just looking at him like. He's like, nah, he just had this look. Like, this ain't it. And everybody just like started roasting cuz. Like his name was Cyrus in an afro. I don't know. After that, I never heard him rap again for the rest of the year. Ever again after that. Swear to God.
He was done after that?
No, we had talent shows. We had plenty of cyphers after that. I never heard him spit another bar. I promise you.
All right. And I'm going to end on this. Y'all. I want to know this. Have you ever heard a beat that used the sample the same way as someone did before and used it?
Say it again?
Have you ever, has somebody ever sent you a beat tape or you've been in the studio and somebody played a beat that had a beat that had already been used? Has that ever happened?
Yeah, definitely. I won't say a beat. I'll say a sample.
All right. The sample.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you didn't gravitate to that? Because the reason why I keep coming back to this is because I've heard your discography. It's dope as hell, but I know that you've never used something that's already been used. So now I'm just interested to know, man, if you've heard things, did it just not speak to you? Like, why didn't you?
Either it didn't speak to me or wasn't good enough.
Okay.
Like sometimes the sample, the way they chop the sample is correct, but I don't like the drums or I don't like the tone of it. I don't like the, or sometimes it's just like I said, it's just like it's all right, but I don't feel like using that. You know what I mean? Right. But if it's good enough and it's dope, I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely try it. You know what I mean? But I just haven't come across one yet that's been like that for me.
Yeah, it's funny because now everybody's freestyling. Even Benny did it, like freestyling over what's free. And the wild part is I just feel like nobody would be doing this shit if it wasn't like the song is big now because it's Meek and Jay-Z. Yeah. I feel like if Jay wasn't even on this, nobody would even be talking about this song. You know what I mean?
Very true. Not to this extent, not to this level.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But because Jay was on it, that was it. That's what was trending on Twitter. It wasn't Rick Ross. It wasn't Meek Mills. It was Jay.
All about Jay.
It was all about Jay's verse. So I almost,
No, I like hated to love it. Jay, like when he said Jay Hova, he really is the god of rap because he can like not do nothing all year, and whenever he drops a verse, that's the kind of attention he garners.
Yeah, it's the best verse of the past 10 years.
Here we go.
All jokes aside, did you like the verse?
I liked it. But like I said, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest because like there's been a lot of great verses this year, so I wouldn't say it's the greatest verse of the year, but it was a dope verse. Yeah.
What about you? How'd you feel about the verse?
I like the verse. There are parts of the verse that I like more than others. But I like the verse. I like the verse overall. I think he did OD. He was talking that talk, but honestly, I prefer Meek's verse better. Honestly.
Okay. See, that's why I like you, Yao, man, because you a Jay fan, but you're not a stan. Like you,
because it's about the flow.
Maybe these eyes, I know they low, but they see. You know what I mean?
I'm giving you some props because that's why I like talking with you.
I'm always gonna give you an honest opinion whether I like you or I don't. You know what I mean? Like this rappers who I don't like, probably like, yo, he had a dope verse. Like there's Kodak Black verses that I'm like, That wasn't that bad. And I can't stand Kodak Black. So
that's what I'm saying. That's what I appreciate about you. Another Jay fan, you can't say he didn't have the best verse, or somebody will be like, "Oh, you don't really like Jay like that."
No, I fuck with Meek's verse a little harder.
His flow was better for that song.
Yeah.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, give him all the good stuff, good brother.
Oh yeah, Eddie B80 at Twitter. As Kill mentioned last episode, me and my wife, we got a Facebook coming out. So that show, like, we've had some technical problems, but it is coming out. I'll have some information on my Twitter account about it. It's called Relation. We're touching on just relationship stuff, and it's gonna be dope.
All right, no doubt. Nick, give him all the info, good brother.
Well, Tom Brady lost, man. That's all. I'm happy. Tom Brady lost, and the Cowboys scored 0. That's my information for the day.
Damn! I'm over here. I was over here watching the Mavericks and the Kings.
Porsche, give him all the info, miss.
Just at Cherche La Porsche.
All right. Yes, give him everything.
Like, I live in Studio City for
Digging y'all up like I always do every time I'm on. Thankful to be on. Always fun. That's it.
All right, and good. Yeah, tell him everything, good brother.
Yeah, music, YAW music. I'm active on Twitter, especially. Holla at me. I've been active lately, man. You want to talk, Guru?
Yo. Here's the wild part. I'm coming to Harlem next week. Y'all's coming to the original apartment 5B.
I'm coming to the
We are gonna chop it up about this whole Guru is trash.
I'm gonna do my research.
He's not the only one to feel that way, man. I've heard a couple of people say that. I was surprised.
What, that Guru is trash?
Yeah. I was shocked.
Look, man.
And I'm so hurt, man. Like,
look, listen, like I said, I'm gonna do my research before you get here. I got about a week. I'm gonna throw some joint on. I'm gonna throw Moment of Truth on. I'm gonna throw what's the last album they put out.
I'm gonna send you my double, like, it's 60 Gangstar songs.
60?
I ain't listening to that.
I ain't even gonna hold you, right?
I'm not doing that.
The top 5 or something, but I ain't no 60. All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Kill 889 Twitter, Instagram. We'll make beats for food. Hit us up. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
All right.
Peace.
Yo.